No, not a lot. I'm peeling. It's horrible. I'm like a leper right now. I spent 2 days on a boat for my birthday, and the sun attacked me. Hell yeah, I did. Okay. I'm going to do the Mercury first. And then promo number one hoops capper this season. Vincent was unfortunate to pick up his third foul in the first half. It was a questionable call. He didn't check that. To me, that's the wrong place, wrong time, wrong call. It's not a foul. Either way, the fouls didn't help Vincent's playing time or his confidence. The shot poorly and ultimately far fewer points than he did in either of the first two. Keep in mind, he scored 19 and 23 in the first three games. They need him to return to that kind of form.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers. And you're watching the best daily all sports betting show on the planet. And trust me, guys, it is. If you've never watched the show before, you want to. You need to. It's a must-watch show. Tons of betting information relevant for today and a lot of laughs along the way. Teddy, how are you? Who's on? What are we going to be discussing?
The Nuggets are back.
I'm doing just fine this morning, Prez. On today's show, Ralph Michael's going to lead us off. He's got not one, but two charts for the NFL. We're also going to talk Reds, Cardinals, and MLB, and some WNBA action. The Atlanta Dream
2-1
and the New York Liberty. Andy Lang's going to come in next. He's going to talk a little NBA Finals prop action. We're also going to talk some Premier Lacrosse League props and one in MLB as well. Our BS segment today, interesting question. Talking about tax issues. Do you want to move to Vegas as a professional sports bettor?
Let me know whenever you're ready.
Somewhere else. We'll get into that one as well. And of course, Prez, as you mentioned, let's do our best to give them good info short-term, good info long-term. Keep them smiling throughout the course of the show. Let's get in.
There you go, guys. Normally, we have our first guest on, and then we go into what did bettors learn. Today, we're going to do it in reverse. I want Ralph to be involved in the what bettors learn. It's a fun question, and he is one of those handicappers that moved to Las Vegas. So, with that said, Teddy, what did bettors learn last night?
So, there was a short MLB card yesterday, relatively short, 11 games only, including a pair of doubleheaders. So, in those 11 games, Dodgers, Reds, first five went over, full game went under. Rockies, cash first five, Giants cash full game.
Vincent was
the Mets cashed the first five. The Braves cashed the full game. Ralph Michaels loved that 5% big ticket winner.
At the Heat,
or
Eddie, hold on one second.
Raising the Twins,
and they've got to get one back.
Hold on one second.
What is it?
Okay, keep going.
You know how the cat fight happened over there?
Okay, go on. Sorry, Teddy, we have some issue,
but if that's what the fight was about, and he got evicted.
Stand by or go?
Oh, he's very
go.
handsome.
Okay.
The most very handsome boy.
Rays Twins, first five goes over the total. Well, push. Sorry, first five over pushed. Full game stayed under.
Cousin Adams in town.
Astros, well, they blew their lead to the Blue Jays in the fifth, but still, the first five went over. The full game went under. The fact they blew their lead in the fifth prevented Houston from being also another first five one way, full game the other way. Red Sox Guardians, first five under, full game over. Brewers, first five. Orioles, full game, first five under, full game push. Yankees, game one, first five cash. White Sox, full game. That's 8 of the 11 where you had to get first five versus full game debate right. And I'm telling you, Prez, I'm 25 years into this business, and that's still something I'm debating every day, struggling with every day. Much harder for me when you talk about first five versus full game than the debate between listed pitcher and action. To me, that tends to be fairly simple. But the first five full game can be vexing for professional bettors, casual bettors, serious bettors, less serious bettors. Recognize if you're struggling with it, you're not the only one. Lawrence?
Yeah, listen, it's an interesting conversation because why do you pick one over the other? Something we should talk about. Maybe ask Ralph what his thoughts are there. For me, it's about looking at the bullpen. Anyway, Teddy, we did have some issues. We were taping something in the background, and there was a hot mic. So sorry to interrupt you, my brother. I won my 5% play last night, but I don't want to make any. I don't want to. You got your 5% up tonight in NBA. Guys, make sure to get that play. 26-5 run. That's what Teddy's on. 26-5. I didn't get that right. 25 and 6.
81%.
Yeah, still ridiculous. Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Ralph, how are you this wonderful morning?
Doing great. Teddy, I loved your segment because there's nothing more frustrating than losing the first 5 and then your team comes back to win. So I have gone.
There's one more frustrating is when you're losing first 5 or you're when they score either bottom of the 5th or top of the 6th. Like you need the when you need the runs and they come in the top of the 6th instead of the top of the 5th, you don't need the runs and they come in the top of the 5th. It's a debate that I have every day, and it makes me crazy. And if it's making me crazy, I know it's making other bettors out there crazy. It's not something I have a right answer for. Nobody does. Yeah. But a lot of times with what bettors learn, it's always not, this is the solution to this problem. What I try to do is talk about problems that I'm having, 25 years in, so maybe bettors can relate.
And the thing is, sorry, Ralph, go on.
I tend to go first 5 unders and full game overs, and then starting pitching if I have the, obviously, if there's a blow up bullpen, I go full game. So, it hasn't always worked, but I try to find the edges that way. But again, it's not like I have any secret code that has cracked it. So it is hair pulling. And, my hairs are very important to me as they're dwindling down. So when I have to pull my hair, because I that first 5, like you said, I played against the Angels the other day. It was 4-1 lead into the 5th, and Angels scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th. So bottom of the 5th, excuse me.
Yeah, I lost 2 games in the last 10 days where I was on a first 5, and it all happened in the 6th. And yeah, dude, you want to pull your hair out. Why? Why couldn't you just do this 1 inning earlier, you idiots?
So there was a game, I'm trying to remember, it was a game last week where my team scored in the top of the 6th. I had a first 5 wager, and I was so mad, and I was so happy when they blew the game at the bottom of the 9th. I was like, yeah, good. Now I feel better, even though I had no full game wager on it. Ralph, let's talk charts.
Well, you know what? This is a chart, guys, that someone reached out to me on Twitter, and I just wanted to share. And, if you walk into a bar and say, hey, what percentage of NFL teams win games between the 3s? Do people know that? I'm going to think they think it's a lot higher. So this chart is, I didn't put records in, Teddy and Prez, just to simplify it, just so we're looking at percentages instead of all the records, which convolutes the chart. So the chart is simple. It's NFL home teams the last 7 years between the 3s. So that means for plus 2.5 to minus 2.5. A favorite of -3 to -6.5, a favorite of -7 or more, a dog of +3 to +6.5, and a home dog of +7 or more. So all 5 are records at home for the last 7 years. You see to the right, there's an overall record, a division record, and a non-division record. So the question pertaining was, when NFL teams are playing at home, do they do better against division foes or non-division foes? So the top green chart is games between the 2.5s. You see that the teams at home against the spread are actually better versus division foes by 4.2%. So a significant edge. In the light blue category, you look at home teams that are a home favorite of -3 to -6.5. Look at those records. They're all bad. 44.6, 44.1 against division, 45% against non-division. But when you get the big home favorites of 7 or more, they're above 50% in all 4 categories. So I will post this chart on Twitter. Over to the right, the last column, you see the over-unders. And I highlighted those in a yellow-brown, meaning under. When I think overs, I think blue with the sky. Under, I think brown dirt, and I normally color code those that way. But take a look at home dogs of 7 or more in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're playing a division foe or a non-division foe. All of those have been unders. Home dogs of +3, +6.5, all to the unders. So the one thing I could say to this chart is when you have home dogs, they are going to tend to go under the total to the tune of 43, to the tune of 57% to the under, or they're showing this over-under number at 43%.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Ralph, this chart's unbelievable. I mean, this is tweeted out. This is a chart people should save. I have a question, and I'd love to see it. Maybe you can add this to the. It's tough. What stands out to me, Ralph, is a -7 and higher, straight up, pretty much across the board, around 86%. That's somewhere around -400 or 500, even maybe more on the money line. I'm curious if those money line bets there would make us a lot of money. 86% win rate. The money line would have to be pretty damn high for you to lose money betting all those on the money line blind.
Well, I could tell you, Prez, that if you're looking at the money line, 80%, is 4 to 1. So you have to win 80% if you're going to lay that. The average line has been -9.9. So while you're looking at 7 or more, the average line in that 86.5% category is actually an average line of -9.9. So you're playing over 500, 600 in some of those games.
So it wouldn't work.
It's not as advantageous as you might think from an 86.5%.
Great.
Yeah, the answer
Teddy?
is -7 or higher, and the majority are going to be or higher. In that instance, with that, you're talking about an average line of -10. Ralph, the thing that stands out to me, and if we could throw that chart up real quick, one more time, please. Thank you. When we talk about season wins, and that's what I'm dialed in on right now, is NFL season wins. I hear a lot of talk about, well, this team's favored in 14 games, or this team's only favored in 3 games, or they're not favored against anyone all year. How can they be over under 4.5 wins? When you look at the actual win percentages of teams in various point spread range, you can understand why win totals are where they are, because you're only going to win 60% of the time when you're a favorite in this range, and 70% of the time as a favorite in that range. Do you see anything in this chart that stands out in that regard when it comes to season win totals and chances of winning games and anything like that? Or is this, I'm trying to extrapolate data that may not be the relevance that I thought it is?
The one thing, Teddy, I learned was this. When the NFL started going to schedules, when we went to 17 games, so the AFC has 9 home games, 1 and 8. I put too much emphasis on those teams that had 9 games, giving them like an extra boost. But you're seeing those home teams, between the threes are actually under 50%. So the home field edge is not what you think it is. I mean, look at the homes -3 to -6.5. You're covering 44.6%. That to me tells me home field edge is overrated in the NFL, period. I mean, that's the one thing I would take out of this. But as far as season wins goes, you said it perfectly. If you're -3 to -6.5 and you're only winning 62% of the games, and those other favorites, you're only winning 48%, you might be a favorite 9 times from -1 to -6. And that would mean you're winning 4.5 games or 5 games in that stretch. So great explanation of why it is what it is. I'm putting out a college football guide, probably about 7 or 10 days. And I have the same theoretical percentages from my power ratings for every team on every game. And then it gives what the theoretical win is, which is normally less than the win total, but it gives you that idea for college football as well.
Ralph Michaels, let's get into some actionable info for tonight's cards. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Teddy.
Lawrence, but before you came on, Ralph told us he had a second chart. Ralph, do you want us to talk about the second chart before we get into game analysis?
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, that's what happens when you log in late, Brad.
Shut up, Teddy.
This chart is just something to look at, learn, and go. I want to give you something actionable for week one. And I'm not going to blindly play this because the sample size isn't big enough. But if we could see that chart, it's as simple as it gets, guys. NFL week one division home dogs have gone 15-2 since 2011. There's the list of games. So it's a chart that we all know teams get hyped so much. If you're a division dog, it's someone you're very familiar with. You tend to keep the games closer. The better team tends to get hyped by the public. Therefore, there's more value on those home dogs. But you see there's a handful of home dogs this year, week number one. And even as surprising, the home dogs, Teddy and Prez, have gone 67% straight up. You know what? I may be off one number on that. Let me pull up my chart. They are 67 because there was a push in there. So division home dogs have gone 10-5, 67% straight up with an average line of plus 4.6. So if you're looking at an NFL week one home dog you like, perhaps thinking of sprinkling some on the money line as well.
Ralph Michaels. Okay, brother, now we're getting into some actionable info. Reds and Cardinals are playing today. Plus 145 for the Reds. This is a live team always. This new rookie they brought up. Wow. Ben Lively against Jordan Montgomery, minus 170 for St. Louis. How do we bet this game?
Well, Lively, not a rookie. I mean, he came up in 2017. He was a rookie. He got hurt in 2018 and he got cut. Was in Korea for 3 years and was in the minors last year. So he's put his work in. And this year in spring, he was a non-roster invitee. So most people didn't even have him on a roster. He is off a bad performance, but he's bounced back off his previous bad performances. And I'm looking at a situation. This is one of those situations my son brought up a couple weeks ago. Teams that return off a road trip of 6 games or more, and now they're at home with rest, and they won their previous game, those teams are 50.7% with an average line of minus 155. That's a minus 16% return on investment. We look at the Reds. The Reds are 13-8 against lefties, a strong number. Montgomery, this was the quote in the St. Louis paper. "I am not a loser," Montgomery told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. "I'm going to keep giving them everything they've got." This guy hasn't won a game since April. His last 10 starts for the Cardinals have all been losses. And when you start getting asked that by the newspapers, all of a sudden it's in your head now. I could see him imploding early with this extra pressure. And the Reds did have a bad game. I like the first 5 here because they fell to the Dodgers 6-0 in their last game. They had won 8 of their 12 games. And Ashcraft got hit in the foot in the 3rd inning. So they had to go to their bullpen. And David Bell did say this, truthfully, with where we were with the bullpen, it's going to be very difficult to get through the game today. And it may hurt us a little bit in the next game. So when your manager says that, and you had to use your bullpen significantly in the last few games, this is certainly a situation where I am going to take the first 5. So I like the Reds' first 5. And I'll tell you what, if you want to be a little conservative, and not look at the plus 145 for the first half, perhaps you split it. Half the wager on the plus the money and half the wager on plus the half a run at minus $1.20. So you're splitting the two, money line and run line.
So here we go. First 5 versus full game. The Cardinals might be 0-10 in Jordan Montgomery's last 10 starts, but it's not because he pitched poorly. Their bullpen's been bad, and they haven't gotten a whole lot of support. Montgomery's allowed 2 earned runs or less 6 times in those 10 outings. He got a pretty good track record. And he's pitched well of late, even. He just hasn't gotten the run support of the bullpen help behind him. Does that concern you when we're talking first 5 versus full game, that the guy we're trying to fade, his team's lost 10 in a row, but he's pitched fairly well in more than half of those starts?
Well, Teddy, St. Louis, I mean, you look at St. Louis, they're not hitting at all. They're hitting 200 over the last 7 days. And look at their hit totals: 4 hits, 7 hits, 6 hits, 5 hits, 6 hits. That's their last 6 games. So, yeah, Lively can pitch well, but without getting any support, and I don't see the Cardinals, changing their bats today. So, you're going against the pitcher. That's why we're a dog. I mean, because he has some decent numbers. His whip is still over 1.5, even though he's had, decent runs. He has allowed some walks. So, no, it's part of being a dog. If you're a dog, there's a reason you're a dog, and that's because the other pitcher's pitching good or the other team's a positive team. So anytime you're betting a decent-sized dog in MLB, you're at a disadvantage for a reason.
Ralph Michaels joining us, exclusive handicapper at WagerTalk.com, one of the best. Ralph, WNBA season's in full swing. It's the Atlanta Dream playing the New York Liberty tonight. Atlanta is +7.5. How do we bet this game? And Teddy, no follow-ups. We're going to go straight into the BS segment after this.
What if Teddy wants to know about the Atlanta Dream injury situation? I don't know. You might have that question.
He has your phone number.
Full disclosure, I'm 2-1 in the WNBA. I normally wait till 2 weeks are past. I don't know every player on every team. I like betting situations more because the WNBA has been very true to some situations. So you have a unique situation here. Atlanta has had 6 days off between games. That is something that doesn't happen very often. When I looked at what home teams do with 6 days off, they're 54% against the spread. If they're at home off a home loss with that rest, they're 59%. And if they're a home dog off a home loss, they're 62%. Now, Atlanta has an injury. Their point guard, McDonald, got hurt in the last game. I don't mind playing on a team the first game after one of their top players gets hurt. I'll look to fade them after that. But I am a believer in the injury system and rallying around this team. The Dream 2-3 straight up. They're 3-2 ATS. They did cover against Las Vegas, the best team, their last game. New York is the second best team in the league. This team went from a non-power team to an absolute power team. This is a dream team in the NBA. They brought in Breanna Stewart, Jones, and Vandersloot, 3 MVPs. All-Star games, 12 All-Star games behind them. Breanna Stewart, probably the best team in the league, but they have not melded yet. They have a lot of talent, but it doesn't show on the offensive side. They're 2-4 against the spread. They failed to cover all 3 road games by 18-7 and 15.5. They've lost 2 road games as a double-digit favorite outright already. I think Atlanta keeps it close. Atlanta's defense has been playing sound. Atlanta plus the 7 or 7.5 tonight.
Awesome stuff, Ralph. Guys, let's get those likes up. A little bit frustrated here, Teddy. I mean, if I hold the carrot of a presidential address at the end of the show, we get 100 likes every day. No presidential address. People don't want to hit the button. We're at 40 likes, 240. 200 of you have not hit the like button. Come on, guys. We're all a team here. It takes 1 second to hit that like button. Ralph, huge congratulations. You won your 5% play yesterday. I won my 5% play yesterday. Both were easy. I mean, literally never in doubt. Teddy, you're up tonight. Tell us what's going on, bro.
I mean, the NBA has been real good. The finals have been real good. 10-2 with my last dozen in the NBA. 80% all sports the last 3 days. 60% in the NBA, counting every play every day since February of 2022. More than 300 plays. And 25-6 with the 5% big tickets, including back-to-back winners over the last 2 games. So you can get that play right now over at WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. You get in a value-priced all-access pass as well and get my baseball included.
Excellent stuff. Hey, Teddy, you deserve it, bro. I mean, you kidding me? Your NBA plays like the Charlize Theron naked in front of me. What the hell did I just say? Rewind that, Dan. Ralph, you're staying with us, and we'll get to your promotion later. We're going into the BS segment of the show. Daniel's son, cue up the worst music in history. All right, guys, this is our betting strategy segment with Teddy and the Prez. Ralph will be joining us during this segment. I do want to make mention, please, if you've got questions, put them up in the comment section under the YouTube show after this show. So not in the chat room. You got to put it up in the comment section. We're going to get to them all. Coom Tham's question for us today. And I'm really interested in this answer, especially coming from both Teddy and Ralph, two people who have lived this. I see the appeal for moving to Las Vegas as a professional bettor. Variety of outlets, better taxes. I'm thinking about the move myself, but I want to know why other cappers or experts, bettors, etc., haven't made that move. It's hard enough to earn a living as a sports handicapper. Wouldn't it make more economic sense to live in a state that's economically friendly to taxpayers? What are the pros and cons of not making that move to the quote-unquote mecca of sports betting location? I have a ton to say, but I'm more interested in what Teddy and Ralph have to say. So, Teddy, you first.
Sure, because, Lawrence, you made a different decision than I did. You know, you stayed in Toronto, and I was living in Michigan, and I decided to move to Vegas. The reason I decided to move to Las Vegas was not because of taxes. It was because I grew up in New York. I went to school in Michigan. I did not have the connections that locked me into any given place. My family had moved around. There wasn't New York to go back to. My friends from Michigan had graduated. There wasn't Michigan. So I was kind of a free agent. I got to choose where I wanted to live and where I wanted to establish my life. And I'm like, if I'm going to choose, I was just about to turn 30. I'm like, I'm moving to Vegas. Vegas is where I want to live. Vegas is the mecca for sports betting, which it is. But it was more about having outs, being able to make bets here in town, being able to network and meet people here in town, as opposed to trying to do that in some far off location. So yeah, the tax situation is advantageous, but taxes aren't a reason to leave your friends and family behind. And if you have tight connections in your where you live, you don't want to move to Vegas. You'll be lonely here. Not a bad place to hang out, not a bad place to live. But if this isn't your town, it's going to take years for it to become your town. So I would say it has much more to do with your personal relationships in your hometown than it does with any tax issues.
Yeah.
That and your ability to get bets down, because there are states out there you still can't get bets down. In Vegas, you can.
Ralph?
Well, I'm going to say this. Why would anyone that does any job not want to move to a state with no tax? Why do you pick a sports bettor? You could ask that question to any person in any job, but because it's where you want to live. You said it on the head, Teddy. Now, when I moved to Vegas, 6 years ago, Ohio didn't have sports betting, so you either illegally or offshore. So you moved to Vegas for a reason back then. Now you don't have that same reason. You look at New York. I just looked up the last month's revenue. New York has $5.6 billion in sports betting handle. Las Vegas had 4.8. New York has exceeded Las Vegas, and New Jersey was close as well. So there's other states doing as much volume. And with DraftKings FanDuel, you have so many more outlets that you bet than you can in Vegas.
I don't agree with you there, Ralph. And I'll jump in here real quick. The number of also the volume of gross revenue bets brought in is not that analogous. The bottom line is New York could do 20 times the volume of Las Vegas. That's based on population. What they don't have is 7 different books right next to each other that allows you to go shop right there in a mall or a strip, if you will. Vegas has, I just picked the number 7, Teddy,
Oh,
out of my head.
Prez,
The point is, you can do that on your phone. You still have 7 books.
Detroit has 15 sports apps. Detroit has 15 apps that you have all the options.
Right.
So the options are much closer than they were in other places. But Teddy, I want to hear what you were saying about FanDuel and DraftKings not having more options than some sports books in Vegas.
I will say this politely. There are books like some of the books that we've mentioned who limit winning bettors immediately, who limit positive recommendation bettors immediately.
Yep.
And you can't get down at the books, at some books that offer what might be attractive lines. So if you're a winning bettor, you're a losing bettor, you're putting in parlay, jamming in parlays every day, you can bet wherever the hell you want. If you're a winning bettor, you need outs that will take your action. Nevada has those outs. Some other states don't.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But there's a difference. But and your point well taken. If you are a professional bettor, yes, we know that, we'll give a shout out to Cirque and Derek. You could fire away what you want at Derek, and he's going to take the bet. So I'll agree with that point. Up 1 or 2% here versus the 98% of the rest of the people.
Yeah, and both of you guys, is there a camaraderie or a culture that has brought you guys to Vegas as well, Ralph? Like where, there's so many. I mean, Teddy used to have the Tuesday night group, 30, 40, handicappers getting together, discussing the football season. This was even before Zoom existed. Is that also alluring to you?
Well, once my son graduated, I had been divorced a while. So, I waited till he was, through college. But I'll tell you what, this might seem weird to a lot of people. A lot of it is because of the time zone. I'm an early bird. I absolutely love NFL being on at 10 a.m. Sunday morning and being able to watch a Sunday night or a Monday night game. I never watched Monday night games in Cleveland that ended past midnight. I absolutely love college football being on at 9 a.m. and having it on all day. So the time zone, to me, is as much of the love as the weather and the winter. And people say, well, minus 115 in the summer. Minus 115 for 6 weeks in the summer is a hell of a lot better than January and February winters in Cleveland. So, yes, it was the friends I had out here, the friends I've made, the ability back then to have the best outs in sports betting, the time zone, the weather, all of it was a consideration. But no state tax didn't even weigh into the decision.
Ralph Michaels, I want to add one last thing, and then Ralph will get to your promotion. If you want to move to a place and you want to take advantage of the tax structure as a sports bettor, welcome to Canada. There are no taxes. Zero tax on gambling winnings in Canada. Zero. Ralph, what do you got to promote?
Just one play up, a 4% totals game of the week on a nice little run. So hopefully we'll continue it. Passing in the NBA, and I am passing in the WA. Atlanta was close to being a play for me, but didn't make it. So one play available now, and jump on board.
There we go. Ralph Michaels, everybody. Andy Lang. You watch the Novak match? He just beat Alvarez, and that's a big deal because Alvarez is the next.
Alcaraz.
And the current just beat him going into the finals against Kasparov. Carmine and I told everybody bet Kasparov to win it all at plus 1,600. That bet is live and in play. But kudos to Novak, man. That's a big win. Like people don't realize, firstly, he's one behind Nadal. And secondly, the minute Alcaraz starts taking over, he's going to go on a monster major run.
Yeah, he got the benefit of Alcaraz cramping up. It was competitive, and then the last 2 sets, Alcaraz couldn't move. His legs were shot. So,
is that what happened?
And Djokovic did not have to use that much energy. He's going to be really, really fresh for his next one. Those last two sets were walk in the parks for him. So, advantage Djokovic. I hope you cash your bet though.
Well, listen, whenever I take those future bets, just like I do in golf, I always take 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The exact. So I just need him to beat Zverev, which fourth seed versus 22. I mean, it's likely. Teddy covers. Andy Lang. Let's keep the show moving. Andy, do you have anything quickly to add to our betting strategy segment?
Oh, the moving? Well, I am, of course, in the betting mecca of Indianapolis, Indiana. But so, yeah, I thought you guys did a pretty good job. From my perspective here in Indianapolis, you guys know I have bets that sometimes you just can't get in Vegas with some of these same game parlays and some of the other options. So I'm new-ish to the industry. So really, since I've joined WagerTalk, I'm used to having legalized betting at my fingertips. That's all I've really known. So for someone like me that lives in this, and Indiana has as many books as possible. So I'm very happy and content. You are right about being limited. You have to dance your way around that. I've told the story. I started an account for my mom on one of the books that was mentioned. She put $500 in. It got up to $1,100 after 4 months, and she got limited. So my beautiful 74-year-old mother has been limited in her gambling career. So that being said, my account has it. I don't get it. I don't know the rhyme or the reason. Because the bets in her account are so minuscule compared to the bets that I make. But I'm very happy here. I can't imagine moving for the sake of betting where I am right now, especially if you live in a state with legalized. I don't think that would be a perk to move anywhere else.
So the one thing that's worth noting that you reminded me there, Andy, if you're primarily a prop bettor, or if you're looking to get down on props, Nevada's not your state. Nevada's
Correct.
great. You talk about Circa, South Point, Westgate is 3 books that'll take wagers and not limit you. So you have multiple outs and multiple options where you can get big bets down on sides and totals and the like. But from a prop standpoint, Nevada is not the place to be. The other states are better. That said, Andy's mom's getting limited. You know what's up.
Yeah.
She's sharp.
Well, she did have you, Andy Lang. Let's get into it, brother. You got a prop bet for us in the NBA game tonight and a prop bet in Premier Lacrosse. Teddy's going to have a great follow-up for you in the PLL. That's for damn sure. Dude, do both, and then we'll get into your MLB.
Okay. Yeah, let's do a little obscure one. Bruce Brown over 1.5 blocks plus steals. I can get this at plus 125. Absolutely. Yes, I'll take it. I think the biggest selling point for me is the minutes increase that Bruce Brown has seen over the last couple games. And I think he's been pretty productive out on the court. I love his activity. I love his movement. And I think he helps Denver on that perimeter, kind of closing out on these 3-point shooters for Miami. So you look at his minutes. He played 21 minutes in the first game, and game 2, 27, and then game 3, 29. So he had 1 steal in the first game, and then he comes back with 2 steals in the second game. And he got credited with 3 blocks, which I think that's a stat error. One of them was a steal. But regardless, he still had 3 total blocks and steals in that game. So I've got a guy who's getting a little bit of an increase in minutes. His value for the team is certainly not on offense. If he can get you a few points, that's a benefit. But I like his activity on defense. I think this Miami team is ripe to throw the ball away. We saw Christian Brown have a really nice steal and dunk. That was kind of one of the nails in the coffin there at the end. Miami can do this. You see Bam can throw the ball away a lot. Even Jimmy Butler can be turnover prone. And Bruce Brown is a guy that he's moving around a lot on defense. If he gets around this 27 to 29 minutes, I think that's just enough minutes on the floor that he eventually gets there. So he's done it with steals. He's done it with blocks. And the price at plus 125, too good to pass up. So that's my NBA prop for tonight. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and move to the Premier Lacrosse League. We bring this up because we are doing lacrosse plays. Last week was week 1 and we swept the board 3-0. This is a very gettable sport. The books really struggle with this, and one of the lines that they put out that is way too low is Jack Concannon, and we're going to take him over his saves. He plays for Team Atlas. He is the goalie, and we're going to take him over his saves. They released this at 11.5 saves. I believe most books have moved it up to 12.5. You're fine to take it at 12.5. So we're getting this low number because he only had 8 saves last game, but this guy is very, very streaky, and when he gets in the zone, he's really, really tough to get the ball past. He had 55% save percentage last season, and this is a great bounce back spot. Going back to 2020, he's had 15 or more saves in all 5 games against the Whip Snakes. The total is way lower just because of one game last week. It's a big overreaction by the books, and these are great scenarios in any sport when you get an overreaction by the Booker public. So take Jack Concannon over at 11.5 saves. There's one real bummer about this, Teddy. There's a team in this league called the Cannons, and Jack Concannon doesn't play for him. I don't know how they didn't miss. Not yet. He's got to get there. It's too great of a marketing opportunity. But yes, Jack Concannon over saves. And Teddy, I'm guessing this is one of these props that you probably won't find in Vegas.
Yeah, it'd be hard to find in this town. That said, let's talk about Bruce Brown for a minute. Look, I'll talk lacrosse props with you all day, but I'm pretty sure the audience wants NBA Finals instead. Are we worried at all that let me ask this, because Brown's production has coincided with him getting MPJ's minutes, Michael Porter Jr., who has been a non-factor in this series thus far. Does that continue? That's the only concern I would have, is that if MPJ comes out and tonight's his night, and then Brown doesn't get the minutes. Is that possible this evening? Is that a concern for you here?
Oh my gosh, it's so possible. I just think there's going to be a Michael Porter Jr. game in this series. He's shooting 16% from threes. It's impossible to continue playing this bad. So yes, of course, it's a huge problem. But the price at plus money is too good to pass up. And if this is not the MPJ game, then Brown's going to get that 27, 29 minutes. I have faith in Porter, but he's just been so bad on those switches on defense that if he keeps that up, I think that's more of the worry on his minutes. The shooting, whatever, they can get, Murray and Jokic, but his lack of switching ability and just his recognition on defense, that's why Brown is getting the minutes, I believe. So, yes, big worry in this one, but I'll roll the dice at plus 125.
There we go. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, before we get into your baseball game, what do you got to promote?
Every Friday, we run the same promo code, ANDY3, ANDY3. It gets a 3-day pass for $39. How did we do last weekend? If you got our 3-day pass on Friday, you made 27 units. So we had an incredible weekend. Yeah. I'm not promising 27 units again. It's a goal, but I don't even know if we'll have enough bets to even get to 27 units. But we got a full lacrosse card that is up. We've got UFC. We've got a NASCAR race. Of course, we got NBA tonight, and we've got a really nice MLB slate. I love the MLB slate for this weekend. We're on a really, really nice run. 9-3 in the MLB in the month of June, and we are up 41 units just since June 1st. So we're on a really nice run in June. So grab the 3-day pass, Andy3. Get your 3 days for $39.
There we go. Seth S. is looking forward to doing shrooms with me in August. That's not going to happen, Seth. I mean, I agree. Who wouldn't? But it's like I was with my kids at the Dead show, and my youngest goes, "Dad, have you ever done coke?" And I'm like, "I am coke. Coke is scared of me, man." So for the rest of the trip, they thought that was the greatest line ever. I am Coke. They want to get me a shirt because come on, man, who's on more speed naturally than me? You got a baseball prop bet? We got a minute left, and I gotta go. What is it, dude?
We're going back to Josh Jung under 1.5 strikeouts, Teddy. We had to. 19 games in a row he's gone under 1.5 strikeouts. This play is 27-5 since May 2nd. But what's so beautiful about this play is, Teddy, he only strikes out one time. So the books, I mean, you can just play this no matter what number the books put up. So if it's under 1.5 strikeouts, he's 27-5. So what happens when the books lower it to half a strikeout? 27-5 to the over. no matter if they play it at half or 1.5, you can make money off of this play. So Josh Jung, if they put it at 1.5, under. If they put it at half, over. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite plays of the year. The Josh Jung epic strikeout prop run.
And I love this.
I watched that whole Rangers game last time out. The whole game,
just to see.
I was fascinated with it. And he struck out one time. So clearly, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Andy Lang, great stuff. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week. Lawrence has got a heart out, and we're done for the week now. Anything you want to say, Lawrence, or should I just close us?
Brother, I want to say two things. One, everybody make sure to play Teddy's 5% NBA play. And two, I'm breaking 90 today. Take us home.
Yeah, I'm taking the over 90 today for Prez, and I'm taking it for the limit. That being said, that's going to wrap it for the week here on WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again next week, each and every weekday, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Live on WagerTalk TV. Between now and Monday's show, enjoy the games, and best of luck with all your wagers.
I am.
If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right. At both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, all Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's one day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets, normally priced at $39, for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.